It's time for live softball action on the No Coast Network. And now, live softball action on the No Coast.
And welcome back to the Lacey Complex here in Oskaloosa, Iowa, as we get set for the second game that we've got to call here on Field 2. It'll be the third of the day out of 4 that we'll be broadcasting, and a little bit abbreviated of a tournament, a little bit abbreviated of a broadcast schedule, but still able to bring you high school softball action here on the No Coast Network. And we'll recap what we've heard and seen on the stream so far to this point. Oskaloosa defeating Sheridan by a score of 7-2 in the opening game at 9:15. We had the call of North Mahaska knocking off Williamsburg by a score of 5-2. It is North Mahaska taking on Norwalk next, and then at 4:15, West Burlington and Oskaloosa slated to start. And I say that because we've been talking to some of the referees and umpires saying that they're going to see if they can't scoot these games up a little bit. So this one has got an expected start time of 2:30, but would not be surprised if they moved it up a little bit earlier in the hour. My color commentator, Cade Snakenberg, to my right. Cade, thanks again for joining us. And as we saw in that first game, this North Mahaska squad can get it done defensively, really put the clamp down and made it difficult for, at the time, Williamsburg. Now we'll try to make it difficult for the Norwalk squad to get those base runners advancing bases.
Oh, yeah. You know, one thing about these tournaments, though, is, you know, they're a grind. They're all-day thingy, and, you know, it's starting to get hot down here on the field, so we'll see if some of the teams start showing some fatigue and ultimately see who lasts the longest.
All right, so as we mentioned already, it was the North Mahaska Warhawks defeating Williamsburg by a final score of 5-2. And it improves their record to 2-3 on the year. To this point, Norwalk 2-2. They originally were slated to get in a couple of games earlier today against Iowa City and Eddyville, Blakesburg, Fremont, but those games had to be thrown off due to the field conditions, although it certainly seems as if in the morning they were ready to go, and by now they've dried out completely. Andy Powles, the head coach for the Norwalk Warriors, and we'll get a look at his and the North Mahaska starting lineups after this break. We'll take a timeout, step away from the action, and be back with the starting lineups. You're listening to Norwalk and North Mahaska softball action on the No Coast Network.
Craig Ford is more than just the name of our business. It's my name and my reputation. Craig Ford is committed to providing you with the highest in customer service and the peace of mind in knowing we won't be beat on price. Check out our website at craigford.com and compare our prices with our competitors. Craig Ford won't be beat on price. Let me say that one more time. Craig Ford won't be beat on price.
My name is Luke Harris, and I'm proud to be a local farmer. Partnering with Flighton State Bank helps me in my farming enterprise to make sound day-to-day decisions from a financial perspective because they provide the financial stability and advice that I need to run my business the way it needs to be ran.
Staying healthy has just gotten quicker and easier. Pella Regional Health Center's walk-in clinic is there when you need it. And now you can reserve your spot with convenient online reservations. Goodbye waiting room. Hello walk-in reservations. Go to www.pellahealth.org/walk-in to reserve your spot at Pella Regional's walk-in clinic. Pella Regional Health Center, providing healthcare and healing services with Christian compassion.
And back here in Oskaloosa at the Lacey Complex, and we've got the North Mahaska Warhawks coming off of a 5-2 victory against Williamsburg. We'll get back at it this time. Their opponents, the Warriors of Norwalk, and obviously, typically, the home team going to be the team that playing on their home field and batting second. However, this being a tournament, we've not yet been informed which is the home, which is the away team. We'll have that for you in a matter of moments. But what I can bring for you is the starting lineups of the two teams. We'll start with the Norwalk Warriors. Jaden Lammers, a sophomore at center field wearing number 2, will start things off for Norwalk, followed by Haley Down in right field. Briley Sodergren is going to be batting third, and she is the flex, is going to be batting for the pitcher. Emily Ellis, a junior, starting out at shortstop and in the cleanup spot. Abigail Johnson, junior, at first base. Katie Heaverlow at second base, and rounding out the infield, Alexi Heim, a junior, at third. So all 4 of the infielders, first, second, third, and short, batting sequentially in the order. Maddie Zimmerman, the catcher, batting 8th. Tessa Palmer in left field, batting 9th. And Emily Gullion, the sophomore, will be pitching for Norwalk. For the North Mahaska Warhawk side, they will go with Zoe Ducor, a freshman, at the shortstop position. Macy D. Young out in left field, batting second. Madison McKay moving over from second base. She'll be pitching in the second game here and will be batting third. Emma Ducor is batting fourth, and she pitched the entirety, all 7 innings of the last game. She moves to center field. Chloe Bossard, the second baseman, batting 5th, followed up by Brianna Fogel, a freshman, at third base. Carly Chandler out in right field, the junior, batting 7th. Paige Lehman once again catching and batting 8th. And then Alex Knuckle batting 9th and will be playing first base. So when we take a look at the lineups for the 2 games, almost no changes. In fact, the only change that we have, at least as batting goes, is Knuckle in for Hudson, 1 through 8, batting in the exact same order, and predominantly the team going with a very similar setup. Again, Lehman, Ducor, and Fogel, the left side of the infield. A little bit of change out in the outfield with DeYoung moving from center to left, with Emma Ducor going out there. Carly Chandler staying in right. Obviously, the change at the pitching mound. And then Bossard moving over from first to second. Knuckle filling in first. So you've got to have confidence if you're the North Mahaska squad, going with a very similar lineup that was able to not even really rip the cover off the ball, but I like to use the term manufacturing runs there in the first game. They played really well defensively. I can't imagine that with a few minor tweaks that's going to change things too much. But one of the things that we talked about that was so important for Coach Sampson and his squad was that in that first game, Emma Ducor not only pitched brilliantly, but did not require anyone else to come in. She took the load, working all 7 innings. That really, especially with this tournament, or originally North Mahaska was slated to have 3 games, now with just 2, really gives them some flexibility here, as all hands are available and on deck should Madison McKay struggle and need some relief.
Yeah, definitely. The Warriors have put themselves in a good position, especially, the Warhawks, taking care of the Williamsburg Raiders last game. Emma Ducor, pitched outstanding. The team altogether played outstanding. The bats, like you said, they didn't really, they were, like you said, manufactured runs. They weren't like just huge shots going deep and stuff. It was just a well-executed game. They kind of went piece by piece and tore apart the Raiders. And, they set themselves up for a good matchup against a good Norwalk Warriors team, and it should be a fun game.
They didn't need to have too many multi-base hits. They had a couple of doubles in there, but for the most part, they were just getting players on base using their speed and their IQ on the base pass to get things going. It looks like Norwalk is set, so we'll keep it right here. The Norwalk Warriors in purple uniforms with white numerals and black pants will lead things off. And starting things out, Jaden Lammers for the Warriors. Lammers comes into the contest batting 2 for 6 on the season. Norwalk not only having played just 4 games in the season so far, I could be mistaken. They've got nobody with more than 7 at-bats, so I have a feeling that these stats might have missed a game or two. But taking strike on the outside corner to start things off for everybody here. It's early in the season, talking about a tournament happening on June 1, so we do like to throw in the stats, but at this point in the season, not too much that we can delve from them. On the other side, North Mahaska coming out with the pitcher McKay. McKay and Ducor, to this point in the season, are the only Warhawks who have gone to the mound. And so Ducor getting things done earlier today. She now has 2 starts and has logged 12 innings pitched. McKay, 15 innings in 3 appearances, 2 of those being a start, 1 in relief, as Lammers lays off of a ball there. McKay comes in with a 4.20 earned run average. However, in just 15 innings pitched, has 20 strikeouts, so certainly will try to punch out batters if she can. A chop and no problem there defensively, as Zoe Ducor will come in on a ball that Lammers didn't quite get all of, had some backspin, and had she hit a little bit softer, it might have fallen at the feet of Ducor and forced to play. Instead, it's a fly out and an early out for the Warhawks defensively.
I liked how McKay has started off on the pitching circle. You know, she's already, you can tell, getting in her groove right now. She's got a real good wind-up for a pitcher in softball, and she looks cool and controlled already from the start of the get-go.
And one of the nice things is sometimes at this, obviously the high school level, you're asking players to play multiple positions and in multiple games. It's a real luxury that in this situation, Coach Sampson has a couple of players that play positions that don't necessarily see a lot of wear and tear that are their pitchers. If typically that's where they're going to be playing. McKay played at second base, had to make a couple of plays, but it's not like she had to maybe catch or play first or shortstop, where a lot of times you see your pitchers. Same thing with Emma Ducor out in center field. If she has to play one day, might be a little bit fatigued depending on how much running she had to do, but probably not having to toss the ball around too much. So with a 1-2 count, little bit high, good eye by the sophomore Haley Down as she looks that one off.
Yep, McKay went with a changeup right there to give her off balance.
2 for 5 on the young season, batting .400. She fouls one off to keep her plate appearance alive and will back out of the batter's box. Again, the officials, seeing that there was an empty field in the sense that the field wasn't being used in the games before, and then seeing that both teams seemed ready, starting this one a little bit early. So if you're just tuning in, we're actually scheduled to get going in about 2 or 1 minute time. We're already in action with the second batter. This is popped up to the right side, and it will drop in. And it will stay fair as that one hit just over the first baseman. It looked like potentially Bossard from second was going to be able to get over there in time, unable to. And interesting to see, you'll see this much more at the high school level than the than collegiate or professional level, but Bossard, want to point out, is a left-handed player. Not surprising to see her at first base in the first game, but not too often you see a left-handed second baseman, as obviously it makes it a little bit easier for her to naturally go to second, but can cause some problems when she makes a routine grounder, then having to shift her weight to the counterclockwise side and then throw over to first. That won't factor into this, however. A quick slapper up the middle, and I like the heads-up play by Down, as Down realized that despite the fact that it was a single by Sodergren, that there was a possibility for a play at second base, and she slides in and makes sure that that's a real easier play for the fielder because there's a force out. Slapped down the line, and from here it looked fair, but the official says it just slipped to the left of third base. Otherwise, that was potential danger for North Mahaska, as it looked like it could have easily been a multi-base hit there.
But you also got to think, if she was to snag that, you got to force out at third, second, and first. So I like where North Mahaska's at right now. The Warriors, you know, getting the bats up, starting to hit well so far.
Yeah, as you mentioned, that one got just past Fogel, but she would have had an easy out and potential to get two and end the inning. As it stands, just a foul ball. Now we go with a 2-1 count to Emily Ellis. Ellis checks into the contest, leading the team with 4 hits, batting 4 for 6, has a double and an RBI, a walk, and one of her 2 outs was a strikeout. And how about this? 4 of those times that she's reached base, she's scored 3 of them. So certainly here, with just 1 out, 2 on, Norwalk might be looking to manufacture a run. But with one of their better hitters up, you've got to imagine they're trying to put a big number up early. That one will get through past the second baseman and will keep going to the fence. It'll score at least 1. They'll send home the second, and it is an 2 RBI double of the stand-up variety. Ellis ends up on second, and quickly the Warriors get on the board with a pair. And back-to-back games that North Mahaska, playing as the home team, gives up at least a run in the first inning. They responded fantastically in the first contest against Williamsburg, giving up 1 in the first, didn't give up another run until the 7th, and that was the only other run that was scored. So sometimes you want to see, obviously, if you're a fan of the Warhawks, them come out and just put up 0 after 0. But sometimes one of the best gauges of how a team is playing is how they face adversity. Here, the lefty will shovel pass over to first. So as I was just talking about how Bossard might have difficulty having to turn and throw, there she was close enough where she could just underhand that over to the first baseman. The runner will advance, and the Warhawks pick up a much needed second out of the inning.
Yep, nice play by Bossard to get the Warhawks to 2 outs. Just need to settle down, get this last out, go to first, and get it going with the bats in the next half of the inning.
Katie Heaverlow, a junior, playing second base. Up next, Heaverlow, batting .400 on the season, takes a called strike on the second pitch. That'll even things up in the count at 1 apiece.
Yep, she's really taking control of the mound right now.
Takes a look at strike 2, Ducor, coming back with that inside pitch, and as we saw with her, I was calling her Emma Ducor, but it's Madison McKay, and I was just going to say that Ducor really worked that inside corner, kind of having flashbacks to that first game, but McKay doing the same thing. This time she tries to see if she can get Heaverlow to chase one outside of the strike zone, slaps one down to Fogel at third. Fogel double clutches, fires, and into the hands of Alex Knuckle, the southpaw. Squeezes that one with both the glove and hand and ends the inning. But Norwalk gets 2 in the top half of the first. We'll see how the Warhawks respond. We'll be back with more. You're listening to girls softball action on KMZN and the No Coast Network.
Hello, this is Wade Davidson, owner of Rock Island Tap, and I want to invite you to come down and check out the tap. We are excited to offer you 59 various beer selections, including 24 craft and domestic beers. We not only offer unique beers, but we can get you mixed drinks, wine, and my famous vodka and Jameson Bloody Marys. We are looking forward to offering lots of events and live music. You're going to want to keep updated on all activities and live music, so be sure to like us on Rock Island Tap Facebook page or call 641-676-ROCK for more information. Come on down to the Rock Island Tap, relax, and enjoy a few with us.
Hey everyone, I'm Tyler Van Welden, your local expert at Malcolm Lumber. At Malcolm Lumber, we pride ourselves in being your local lumberyard. We boast competitive prices that you find at the big box stores and unmatched service that the big box stores can't provide. Our one-on-one service is what sets us apart. Our knowledgeable experts are here ready to help build you a better future. And thanks to the community for having us all these years.
You can continue to find Malcolm Lumber at our 3 locations in Grinnell, Montezuma, and Oskaloosa. Malcolm Lumber is here for you, start to finish.
Back here in Oskaloosa, it's a beautiful day for softball. And as I had mentioned previously, it looked like we did have partial statistics, and that is indeed the case, as we see on Norwalk's side, listed as having both Down and Goulian pitched just one game, complete games in that, and they've played 4 games on the season with a 2-2 record. So it looks like they credited Down having pitched that first game at home against Des Moines East, a 1-0 victory. Here, Goulian gets ahead of the batter, Zoe Ducour. We've got Goulian as 5 innings pitched with a 1.4 ERA and an opposing batter's average of 136. This one is tapped foul down the third base line, although, again, we expect that there's a good chance that those stats are incomplete. But to this point, seems to be settling in just fine. A little bit of a disadvantage for Norwalk in the sense that they're playing a team that's already played today. However, we'll see with the weather picking up, if they can't try to use that to their advantage, if this squad for North Mahaska comes out fatigued at all, and I don't expect that necessarily due to having played a game prior, but the fact that it's currently 81 degrees and the humidity starting to be a factor. And a punch out there as Ducour goes down swinging, and that will be the first out of the inning.
Yeah, you tend to see, fatigue start to wear in, towards the end of the day. This still being, North Mahaska's second game of the day, so hopefully they're not too tired by now. You wouldn't assume they would be.
This one's popped up to the center fielder. Jaden Lammers squeezes that one, and making short order is Goulian, as she's quickly got Madison McKay coming up to bat. It's pitcher on pitcher. We do have some finals in from that third session. It was Ottumwa defeating Liberty by a score of 8-3. McKay fouls off the first offering. West Burlington doubled up Pella 4-2. It was Pella Christian all over the Chargers of Sheridan 10-0, and Newton squeaked by Albia by a score of 6-5. McKay back in the batter's box, looks ready. Goulian winds, fires, delivers. This is drilled to the left field side, back, and it will get over the head of the left fielder. And quickly firing that back in for Norwalk was Tessa Palmer, but not before McKay ends up at second. A stand-up double. Now Emma Ducour comes to bat with a runner in scoring position, and they'd love to put up a crooked number, even if it's just one here, and try to cut into that lead for Norwalk. If Norwalk can get out of here, having given up none, then it really makes that 2 look all that more impressive. The official calling a strike on the outside corner, and I think that was a good job of framing it. From here, it looked to be just outside. This one's a better pitch down the middle, swung through, and unable to come up with it was the batter in Ducor. She'll slap one over to the left side. Runner hesitates. They'll fire to first, and it will not matter. Into the glove of the first baseman, Abigail Johnson. And so the Warhawks get a runner on, but leave her stranded. After one inning of play, they trail 2-0. Norwalk coming up to bat at the top of the second, and we'll take a timeout. You're listening to the Oskaloosa Classic girls softball action on KMZN and the No Coast Network.
If you think there's room for improvement in your investment game plan, or that maybe you should send in some new plays, take a time out and talk to an experienced investment professional. I'm Bob Auld of Robert Auld Investments, an investment advisor with over 31 years of experience in Oskaloosa and Southern Iowa. Let me help you find some new strategies. Call 673-9448 or 1-800-444-AULD.
Robert Auld is a registered representative offering securities and investment advisory services through SagePoint Financial Inc., member FINRA and SIPC.
The Welcome In Bar and Grill at 209 Walnut Street in downtown Eddyville is the place to meet your friends for good times and great food. Try one of their mouth-watering tenderloins or burgers. And don't forget to order up some delicious appetizers like mac and cheese bites or jalapeno poppers. Stop into the Welcome In Bar and Grill at 209 Walnut Street in downtown Eddyville today, and be sure to like them on Facebook to see daily food and drink specials.
Norwalk Warriors on top by a score of 2-0, getting their 2 runs on 3 hits, leaving 1 on base. In the top of the first, North Mahaska unable to score, getting 1 hit and stranding Madison McKay at second base in the bottom half of the inning. Couple of quick pitches, one a little bit too far inside, the other down the plate, evening the count at 1-1. Lexi Heim is a junior. The third baseman wears 33 and fouls that one off. I like the fact that here at the Lacey Complex, the backstops have that top. So in other words, it keeps a few more balls. Obviously, if something gets hit up there, they won't count it as a catch if the catcher were able to get underneath it. But it protects everybody, also speeds up the game a little bit as those balls don't head out of play nearly as often, and Heim can't catch up with that one. She goes down swinging. That is the first strikeout of the game for Madison McKay, and it will bring Maddie Zimmerman, a left-handed batter, to the plate. Coming up wearing 21, the catcher is a junior and batting in the 8-hole.
Yeah, the weather's really started to pick up right now. You can see North Mahaska in the black uniform, so the heat's definitely absorbing. Same with Norwalk wearing the dark-colored uniform. So we'll see how, towards the end of the game, see if they still have the same energy they got right now.
2-0 count. I know that a lot of the materials, as this one is ripped to the opposite side, no problem there for the left fielder D. Young as she squeezes that one. I know that the materials these days are a little bit more breathable than some of the things that we've seen in decades past, but I do think that it's interesting that baseball and softball games where like volleyball, not as vital that you don't wear colors that don't clash, because it's not like a game of football, soccer, hockey, where by thinking somebody's on your team and them not, it really causing issues, because it's not like when the batter is hitting it, they're going, all right, well, I want to make sure that, oh, no, that's my person standing on second base. But it is interesting that both of these teams, having that flexibility, both went with their dark uniforms and not white. However, it's certainly not like it's going to be the warmest day of the year. There are definitely going to be some other days where maybe they're glad that they saved the whites. This one is going to be upstairs, 3-0 the count. Did have an opportunity in between games to kind of sit around and not necessarily talk with, but more a fly on the wall of some of the officials, as this one is down the plate and called for a strike. But they talked about how some of the umpires around are not very good about displaying the count, and so far the officials here have been fantastic about letting everybody know. They're told at least every 3 pitches to make sure that they get the count. A lot of that has to do with the fact that if they don't, they're certainly going to be hearing from some of the fielders, hey, what is the count? So they're trying to get ahead of it. Speaking of, now a full count, and just inside the pitch taken by Tessa Palmer. So an opportunity by the wayside for the North Mahaska squad to try to go 1-2-3, and this puts Jaden Lammers back up again. She flew out to the shortstop in the first, does it again in the second. Not a lot of elevation on that one, not necessarily a screaming line drive, but it didn't get up more than maybe 7-8 feet before falling into the glove of Zoe Ducour. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back with the bottom of the second with Norwalk still on top 2-0. You're listening to the Oskaloosa Classic. It's softball action on KMZN and the No Coast Network.
Need to buy or sell real estate in the New Sharon or Oskaloosa area? Call me, Kara Meyer, at Gatton Realty at 641-660-1713, and let me help you with your real estate needs. Whether it's residential, commercial, or land you're looking to buy or sell, I'll use my resources and expertise to find the right buyer or seller for you. All of us at Gatton Realty are proud supporters of North Mahaska. Go Warhawks!
Oskaloosa Vision Center's hometown doctors have strong roots in Oskaloosa and are dedicated to serving the community. We use state-of-the-art equipment to provide high-quality, professional eye care through comprehensive eye exams, medical care for eye infection and disease treatment, as well as emergency aid and pre- and post-operative care. With our large variety of prescription glasses, sunglasses, and contact lenses, we strive to meet the needs of all patients, from newborn to adult. Oskaloosa Vision Center. Come see us today.
Something like that.
And back here in the second inning, bottom of the second, my name's Eric Zamora alongside Cade Snakenberg. And Cade, right as we were coming out of the break, you were kind of talking about one of the aspects of softball that you really enjoy here in Iowa.
Yeah, just how competitive, because, you know, Norwalk being a huge school, like close to 800 students enrolled, and then North Mahaska just, you know, I don't know the number exactly, but it's nowhere near that size. Just how competitive both these teams are, and just softball in general, the schools being competitive with each other. Oskaloosa had the challenge of playing Des Moines, the Western Des Moines Valley the other day, and ended up being competing a battle. So I just love how, you know, no matter the size of the school, the softball teams, you know, are always competitive.
Certainly, and as this is hit over to the right side of the infield, no problem there as Heverlo gets it into the mitt of Abigail Johnson for out number 1. I will admit that I'm not an Iowa native, and I'm starting to learn the schools in eastern and southeastern Iowa a little bit better. Did call some football games for KMCD down in Fairfield, good 7 years ago, mostly calling, as this one's popped up back to the pitcher, mostly calling games in the Pekin, Cardinal, Van Buren area. So it's interesting to start to learn a little bit more about the schools. I'll be honest, when I moved back to Iowa a few years ago, I called Des Moines Buccaneer hockey games for 2 seasons, and this past winter was fortunate enough to get to call a game, Oskaloosa at Norwalk, and really going in, knew that they were both good programs, had no idea at the time that I would be watching the first of what ended up being 3 games between them in the season series in Norwalk at Oskaloosa, and then finally at Wells Fargo Arena for a state title. So as you pointed out, sometimes those smaller schools will put up a good fight. This is popped up to the right side and caught by the right fielder, and she and the second baseman have a little bit of a chuckle there, as there is nearly a collision, but it ends up being squeezed by Haley Down. So short order here in the second as the Warhawks go 1-2-3, and this will bring up Haley Down, the right fielder who just made that out, here to start the third inning on the way. 2-0. It is Norwalk on top. You're listening to the Oskaloosa Classic. It's girls softball action on the No Coast Network.
Hawkeye Real Estate is your one-stop source for everything real estate in Mahaska County and the surrounding area. Whether commercial, residential, or acreages, we've got you covered with the area's largest pool of real estate professionals, full-time support staff, and property management services. With over $19 million in sales volume for 2016, Hawkeye continues to be Oskaloosa's leading real estate office. Discover what thousands already know. When it's time to make a move, get the Hawkeye Edge.
At Mahaska Drug in Oskaloosa, getting your prescription filled is easy. The large covered drive-thru and easy access to the front door is convenient, and the friendly staff is always ready to help you. With a variety of goods and home decor, Mahaska Drug is sure to have the perfect gift for any occasion. Have your favorite photos developed and framed at Mahaska Drug's framing counter, and cherish your memories for years to come. It's all at Mahaska Drug in Oskaloosa, where they have been committed to a healthy community for over 20 years. Call 673-3439 or stop in today.
And the first pitch swung on by Haley Down. She will foul that out of play. And we've got a full cast here in Oskaloosa as this pitch is taken outside. Jimmy Ott producing back at the studio with Jared Buckaloo engineering here on site. Titus Letzring, our camera operator. Cade Snakenberg, our color commentator. My name's Eric Zamora, providing the play-by-play. Again, an outside pitch, or I should say outside the strike zone with a 2-0 count. We'll see how McKay comes back and looks to wind and deliver. And I didn't see too much wrong with that pitch. Must have just missed. I'm assuming it was a little bit high, as it didn't look like it was outside. But particular is the batter, Haley Down, and to this point, it has paid off. They will catch the outside corner, does McKay, with that one. So interesting to see, even in a 3-0 situation, McKay still trying to paint those corners and is not going to give up a great opportunity for the batter, and that's why Down tattoos that one over the shortstop's head, backed up by the left fielder. DeYoung quickly gets it into Bossard to prevent that from being an extra base hit, but Down leads things off with a single, and it's the second time in the contest that she's gotten up. Second time she's been the lead runner. The first time it was with an out already, this time a leadoff single. And so Norwalk doing what Williamsburg wasn't doing often enough in that first game against North Mahaska, and that was getting batters on base early in the inning, trying to start some rallies.
Yeah, definitely. I like what I've seen from Norwalk so far, with their bats. Especially towards the top of the lineup, seems to be a lot strong, their strong part. And they're getting on base, and they're getting the bats rolling right away.
Fouled off to the left side, then this one well outside to the left as we see it here behind the batter, so that will allow Down to become even more of a threat, as now there's no force out. She can take her choice of whether she wants to advance or not. This one just goes foul, as that one, all it needed to do was hit paint, and there was not much green between the ball and the line, as that one hopped over the first baseman Knuckles' head and just landed foul. Chopped to the second baseman. She'll fire over to first. However, it's snow cones out of the glove. Now they'll throw home. Lehman can't get there in time. And in safely at second is Sodergren. So a series of unfortunate events for the North Mahaska Warhawks. It looked like Down was going to get to third. They were going to get the out at first. Instead, Down advances 2 bases, as does Sodergren. And so an error proves costly as it snowballs into several. And now another runner in scoring position for the Warriors.
Yeah, they're very important for McKay to find a way to get a strikeout to help her, defense right now, who's struggling a little bit after the error. So if she could get a strikeout, maybe that could boost, some confidence in her defense to pick it up.
And not to play Monday morning quarterback, but I think what it was it was one thing compounding another. There might have been a throw in there where they thought, well, we really don't have a chance to get her going home. But when you make the play where you can't squeeze it and get the out, you're just frustrated at yourself and thinking, okay, maybe I can make it up by making that perfect throw, the perfect tag, but with the speed and the heads-up play of down. There's a lot of players that are still on third base right now, and Sodergreen is still on first, but because Down knew there'd be no play at third, she can round the base and check things from there. It was that aggressive base running, that mentality of, yeah, you can get me out, but you're going to need a perfect throw, a perfect catch, and a perfect tag, just banking on not all three of those things happening. Here's a fly out to right, and then Chandler immediately turns, looks the runner back, and makes sure she doesn't advance. That was that big out that McKay needed that you were talking about.
Yep, so now we can get a force out at first and leave a runner on third, and, get another force out at first if all plays out well for North Mahaska.
Abigail Johnson to the plate. Remember, just one out in the inning. That was the lone out as Down led things off with a single, got to second on a passed ball, or a wild pitch rather, and then ended up scoring on a play where she would have gotten to third for sure, but unable to corral the throw to first. And so then that also put Sodergreen at second base, where she currently stands and is awaiting the junior first baseman to see if she can knock her through. And that was a pitcher's call to be sure, as that one actually brushed Johnson off the plate and was called a strike, all in the same pitch. 1-1 the count, the wind, the delivery, and Johnson knocks it to short. Runner waits and is pulled off the bag. So Knuckle does a good job there to make sure that doesn't get past her. But the throw from Zoe Ducour at the shortstop position ends up causing Knuckle, who is a tall player. It's not like you're talking about someone who's 5'3", 5'4", and that's why she was drawn off. She had to leap just to make sure that that one didn't go anywhere. And now Sodergreen advances to third, and Johnson is at first. It will bring up Heaverlow. Heaverlow ended up grounding out to the third baseman to end the first inning, and that was a fantastic play by Fogel. If you recall it, it wasn't a hard hit ball, a little bit slow, so Fogel really had to be quick as it kind of hopped into her glove at the last second and moved. She had to really make sure that her throw was timely and accurate, and that was with a runner, Ellis, at third at the time, and would have caused a run. Here, Heaverlow is hit by the pitch. One pitch after Johnson steals second with no throw, and I like that call. Lehman there with the runner going, unlikely to catch her stealing, and then it would have allowed an opportunity for Sodergreen to come in from first. So Heaverlow takes one in the thigh for the team, and it brings up Lexi Heim with the bases loaded. And again, just one out here in the third.
Eric, I'm a little surprised Coach Sampson hasn't come to the circle and sort of corralled his team, pulled them together, tell them what to do, just to relax, play their game. Because they seem a little, they seem a little out of character, a little flustered right now. So if he can get them together, I'm a little surprised he didn't after that player was hit by a pitch.
So it loads the bases with a 1-1 count. This one is elevated up, and the pitcher will have it, although it wouldn't have mattered if she'd caught it or not. Infield fly rule in effect, and this will bring up Maddie Zimmerman. Zimmerman, a lefty with two down.
Yep, that was huge for the Warhawks. Now we got to force out at any base.
And 2 out of 3 batters hit by the pitch, and there Zimmerman, I think, in all honesty, if the bases are empty, She might have tried to get out of the way of that one. There, she knew exactly what was at stake. It wasn't too tough of a pitch. She just let that one hit her in the upper leg, and this will cause that Samson meeting at the mound that you were alluding to moments ago. We'll see if it ends up being a pitching change or just a talk. But what it brings up is Tessa Palmer, who walked in her first at-bat. She is the 9th batter, 2 outs. This is do-or-die time for the Warhawks. They, 1, need to get out of this inning without having any more damage. They're already down 4-0. But 2, should Palmer extend this half inning, it would bring the top of the order up for Norwalk.
Yeah, and we talked about how the North Mahaska pitchers, both in the first game and this game, have been pitching it inside. Now it seems to be a little bit costly as McKay has hit 2 hitters on this inning.
Down, and a big stop by Lehman as that one was in the dirt. And she was able to come up with it cleanly, not only prevent it from getting past her, but really the runners didn't even think about trying to advance there. Outside, however, that makes ball 2, and they've got nowhere to put her right now.
That was close to being a called strike, just curved outside at the end.
And sometimes when you kind of, as this one is called a strike, sometimes when you're dialed in and you're really throwing a lot of strikes, those iffy ones go your way. When you've got a situation where you've had a walk, where you've gotten deep into counts, and after you've hit 2 batters in a row, you're not getting the benefit of that call anymore. And we see that again as this one's a little bit high, a little bit outside, and it goes for a ball. 3-1 the count, 2 outs. Warhawks 1 out away from ending the rally. Hit and into the glove of the center fielder, Emma Ducour, running behind and over her shoulder, is able to make a catch, as that would have scored at least 2. So the Norwalk Warriors get 2 in the inning, increase their lead to 4-0. We'll come back for the bottom of the 3rd right here on KMZN and the No Coast Network.
See what See First has for you. Crazy good rates. Complete convenience. Cash for what you need. Capital to grow. Join the crowd. Try us. Join us. Because together is better.
Keep up to date on what's going on at the Quincy Place Mall in Ottumwa by joining our text club today. Simply text QPM to 64600. You will receive reminders of our sidewalk sales and other events. Also, when you join our text club, you will be entered for a chance to win a gift certificate. So join our text club today. Text QPM to 64600, and don't forget to like us on Facebook. We'll see you at the Quincy Place Mall at 1110 North Quincy Avenue in Ottumwa.
Back into the Oskaloosa Classic here at the Lacey Complex in Oskaloosa, Iowa. We'll run through scores from earlier today. Oskaloosa defeated Sheraton 7-2. Joe Lancello had the call of that right here on the No Coast Network. Then it was Knoxville knocking off Pella Christian 8-3. Eddyville Blakesburg Fremont over Pella 8-0. Those were the 3 early games. In the second set, Mount Vernon shutting out Linville Sully 7-0. Albia all over Liberty 12-0. They called that one after 4 innings. And then we had the call of North Mahaska defeating Williamsburg by a score of 5-2. Here in the bottom of the 3rd, strike called on the opening pitch to Paige Lehman, the catcher. And she'll look at an outside pitch to even the count at 1-1. In the 3rd set, Ottumwa goes with a victory over Liberty 8-3. West Burlington over Pella in a closer one, 4-2. Lehman slaps down a bunt, but does not beat out the ball to first. It will be a put out 1-3 and the opening out of the bottom of the 3rd. Pella Christian shutting out Sheridan 10-0, and Newton squeaking by Albia by a score of 6-5. Right now, it is Norwalk 4, North Mahaska 0 here on Field 2. Hit down the first base side, but foul. Ottumwa back in action against Mount Vernon as they're over on Field 1. Both of those teams having won earlier today. Linville Sully and Williamsburg both looking for their first victories on the afternoon, or on the day, I should say, as they played earlier in the morning. And they're over on Field 4. On Field 5, Knoxville taking on Newton. If we get any score updates from those ones, we will bring them to you. An outside shot slapped foul. Alex Knuckle, the junior first baseman, and really hit that one off the very tip of her bat. Looked more like a defensive swing than trying to put that one in play.
Yeah, she was going with a little slap bump method, I believe.
Upstairs, good eye displayed by Knuckle, as that'll bring the count to 2-2. And as I mentioned, those are the 4 games going on right now. There will be 2 games starting at approximately 4:15. West Burlington versus Oskaloosa, Norwalk, and Eddyville, Blakesburg, Fremont, as Knuckle is rung up looking. Again, that Oskaloosa West Burlington game can be heard right here on the No Coast Network, and the video can be watched on the stream as well. This will bring the top of the order up for the Warhawks. Zoe Ducour, the shortstop, swinging through an outside pitch, unable to catch up with it, and it is strike 1. Zimmerman is the catcher and is a southpaw with the glove on her right hand. That one is stung down the left field line, but just foul. And you could tell by the positioning that Lexi Heim knows exactly where Zoe Ducour is looking to go. Sometimes you'll see third baseman a little bit far away from the bag. She is going to protect everything and say, if she hits it to my left, that's fine. I don't want anything getting to my right, because that's where you're going to be looking at a multi-base hit. And especially with 2 outs in the inning, you can afford right now to give somebody the base at first. You can't afford to put them in scoring position.
Yeah, definitely. She's got her, the batter's got her left leg slightly behind her right, so she's looking to pull it. See how this goes. That sometimes gives out hints towards, you know, the infield too. If you got your left leg pointed straight forward more, it'll typically go down the first base line, and if it's back, it'll go towards the third.
The pitch upstairs, ball 3. And the defense playing the corners, and not a huge gap in between first and second or shortstop and third. Really, the biggest gap, if you look at it, is if she can hit it over the pitcher. There's quite a bit in between the second baseman and shortstop, but they catch the inside corner on Zoe Ducour, and she is caught looking for the second strikeout of the inning, third of the game for Goulian, and it will end the third. We'll go to the top of the 4th. North Mahaska trailing Norwalk 4-0. You're listening to the Oskaloosa Classic. It's girls softball action on the No Coast Network.
We all need help from time to time, especially during life's health transitions. Whether you're getting back on your feet or looking for a new place to call home, Care Initiatives is here. For over 25 years, we've helped Iowans maintain independence and quality of life. Rehabilitation, skilled nursing, long-term care, hospice care. No matter what life brings, our team of experts are ready. Care Initiatives for life's health transitions.
Need to buy or sell real estate in the New Sharon or Oskaloosa area? Call me, Kara Meyer, at Gatton Realty at 641-660-1713, and let me help you with your real estate needs. Whether it's residential, commercial, or land you're looking to buy or sell, I'll use my resources and expertise to find the right buyer or seller for you. All of us at Gatton Realty are proud supporters of North Mahaska. Go Warhawks!
And laying down a bunt on the opening pitch, however, It is a throw out on Lammers. Nice job by the pitcher to get over in time, and Gunner at first. It will bring up Haley Down, who is 2 for 2 in the contest and has scored 2 of the 4 runs for the Warriors.
Good start for McKay, getting that first out right away. She hasn't been doing it in the past couple innings. Maybe this couldn't relax her a little bit up at the circle.
And one of those was Down, who started things off last inning. And what we saw to end last inning, Palmer flew out to Emma Ducour. This time, not as exciting of a play, a little bit less hectic with nobody on base, and that one an easier play in front of her instead of her having to run over the shoulder. It brings up a Briley Sodergren. Briley, a senior, and in essence is here batting for the pitcher, Goulian, a sophomore. Count of 1-1. Delivering, this is chopped up the third base line. Calling her off is Zoe Ducour. Fogel kind of lost it in the sun there, and nice job communicating by Ducour. The shortstop comes up with the out. So it's a 1-2-3 inning, and we will head to the bottom of the fourth. Norwalk on top 4-0. You're listening to the Oskaloosa Classic on the No Coast Network.
The Welcome In Bar and Grill at 209 Walnut Street in downtown Eddyville is the place to meet your friends for good times and great food. Try one of their mouth-watering tenderloins or burgers. And don't forget to order up some delicious appetizers like mac and cheese bites or jalapeno poppers. Stop into the Welcome In Bar and Grill at 209 Walnut Street in downtown Eddyville today, and be sure to like them on Facebook to see daily food and drink specials.
Fred's Muffler Shop in Oskaloosa has been a family-owned and operated business for over 55 years and is proud to support our community and the student athletes in it. Fred's Muffler provides their customers with bumper-to-bumper quality work done with hometown dependability and competitive prices. Come see what's new at Fred's Muffler Shop in the brand new showroom located at 1214 A Avenue West in Oskaloosa.
Bottom of the fourth inning, and the North Mahaska Warhawks were able to manufacture runs against Williamsburg in their 5-2 victory, have yet to come across home plate and starting to run out of opportunities. And a big part of that is the pitcher for Norwalk, Goulian, has been absolutely fantastic through 3 innings, as this one is skied over and caught by the second baseman Heaverlow for out number 1. As we take a look at it, through 3 innings, a perfect game would be having faced 9 batters. Well, for Goulian, she's faced just 10, as McKay, who is now up to bat, hit a double and was left at second. She's the only player for the Warhawks to reach base. And I think that sometimes when you take a look up at the scoreboard, it'll cause a team that's down and knowing that the other pitcher is red hot to try to do a little bit too much. Their bread and butter is getting somebody on base, sacrificing, base running, and coming up with those timely hits, and sometimes hoping that the other team maybe gives you an extra base here there, throws the ball around a little bit. With Goulian, obviously, that makes the task that much more difficult. This is roped down the line, and it looks like another extra base hit for McKay. McKay will round second and will stay there. So the advantage here for the Warhawks, as opposed to the last time they came up with McKay on second, is that was with 2 outs in the inning. Here, just a single out. So they've got a couple opportunities with Emma Ducour and Chloe Bossard due up next.
And you got to like, who's on deck. And for the Warhawks, you got Ducour, who's batted pretty well today so far. And then Chloe Bossard, hit a triple in the first game and hasn't really gotten going here.
And there's an outside pitch. And what's interesting there is that Ducour pulled forward to get out of the way. Sometimes you'd say, well, you should maybe lean into it. But I think it's a better situation here. It would have kept the runner at second. You'd have runners at first and second. Now instead, you've got one of your better hitters still up, and that advances the runner to third. So McKay will take the base on the wild pitch, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult to tell whether you're going to call that a wild pitch or a pass ball. Certainly a wild pitch, as that went to the wrong side of her. And this will be hit just foul. As I was about to say, had that fallen in, there was no chance, as it would have been rolling away from home plate, that they would have had a play on McKay. McKay standing at the bag. I'm not sure if she was thinking that she could tag there. Probably could have safely stepped a step or two away, but you don't want to get too far there and get doubled off at third. Count is 2-2, and so it makes it a little bit careful there that Emma Ducour has to be, but she does see that that one goes wide. Outside is the pitch, and it brings the count full. She's got a runner at third. Comes inside with the pitch, and it's over the plate. So coming back nicely with the pitch, Emma Goulian, and she gets a big strikeout to get the second out of the inning.
Yep, Goulian totally taking control of the circle right now. I'm a little bit surprised the Warhawks didn't decide or choose to have Ducour bunt there to, to try and make a play, see what the fielders do, either go home or go to first.
Bossard rips one up the middle, and that'll be good for an RBI single. She takes a wide turn, but elects to stay at first base. So as you pointed out, there are a couple of options they could go with. I think the thought process of head coach Chris Sampson there is, well, we've got two great hitters coming up, and unless you see something freakish where they somehow are able to manufacture a double play with us having a runner at third, almost unheard of, you're giving yourself the statistical odds of, well, if one of the two of them can come through with a hit, and it ends up paying off, as Ducour can't come through, but Bossard does. The lefty is able to slap it left of the bag at second, but far enough away from the shortstop where there was no opportunity for Ellis. Even if Ellis had somehow made some sort of miraculous dive to knock it down, at that point Bossard would have, the lefty, already been way too far out of the batter's box, and it would have been an infield single. This is hit to Ellis. Ellis turns, fires over to first, and outstretched Abigail Johnson. That's one of those situations where you love having a tall first baseman, as that would have been a little bit closer of a play, but easily gets the out. North Mahaska does pick up one run, but they trail 4-1 after 4 are in the books. We'll come back with the fifth inning of the Norwalk North Mahaska matchup here at the Oskaloosa Classic. You're listening to girls softball action on the No Coast Network.
Hi, I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor Amber Coffey.
I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor Brandon Kane.
I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor Jennifer Main.
I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor Jason Rosenboom.
I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor Austin Norris.
If your saving for retirement strategy involves the phrase, "I'll get around to it someday," you need to talk with an Edward Jones Financial Advisor. When it comes to meeting your goals, time can be on your side, and there's no better time than now to get started toward your retirement goals. For sound financial advice, contact your local Edward Jones professional today. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Falvey Lumber and Hardware in Eddyville and Albia is dedicated to providing their customers with friendly service. Falvey Lumber and Hardware values your business and has made it their mission to provide reliable products and services with their customer-driven approach. Falvey's courteous professional team is able to support a range of services to meet your requirements. Falvey Lumber and Hardware in Eddyville and Albia. In Eddyville, call 969-4814 or Albia 932-2150.
And we are in the top of the 5th inning with a 4-1 lead in favor of Norwalk. So if you're seeing it on the stream, you can go ahead and just pay no attention to the scoreboard not giving either of those. But it is a correct count, 0-2. And we do have some scores coming from around the other fields here at the Lacey Complex. We'll bring those to you in just a matter of moments. But fouling one off and staying alive is Emily Ellis, the junior shortstop. Just put an end to the only inning that the North Mahaska Warhawks have been able to manufacture a run. They've got 1 run on 3 hits with 2 left on base. Meanwhile, on the other side, it has been the Norwalk Warriors scoring 2 in the first and 2 in the third. Here in the 5th, they will watch as Ellis goes down looking for the first out of the inning. So Ottumwa taking on Mount Vernon. Ottumwa is up in the 3rd inning at bat, and they have a comfortable 7-0 lead. Linville Sully leads Williamsburg 2-0 in the 4th inning, and after 1 inning of play, it is Knoxville 0, Newton 2. That taking place over on field 5. Getting ahead early in the count is McKay, as there's a called first strike. Then fouling off the second pitch is Abigail Johnson.
Yep, McKay has gone right back to her best friend tonight so far, the inside pitch. And, this umpire has called 3 strikeouts, backward Ks on the inside pitches. So he tends to like those ones. Both pitchers seem to be using that to their advantage.
And again, I think McKay's getting her share of calls, but certainly right now, the way that Emma Gillian is pitching, if it's anywhere close to the strike zone, the official seems to be ready to give her the benefit of the doubt. Staying alive in the at-bat is Johnson as she fouls that one off. And here's the thing that's got to be frustrating if you're a North Mahaska supporter, is that Norwalk scored 2 runs in the first inning off of 3 hits and left 1 on base. But in the 3rd inning, they also were able to put up 2, and it was with only 1 hit given up. It was just a series of plays, including errors, including 2 hit by pitches. And so Johnson finally does succumb to Madison McKay as she flies out to the second baseman, and it brings up Katie Heaverlow, who is one of the 2 aforementioned players to reach first after getting hit by a pitch. McKay this time throws a strike. It's knocked down by the second baseman. She comes back to first, and Bossard gets the ball into Knuckles' glove just in time to beat out Heaverlow. So after 4.5 are complete, 4-1. Norwalk on top. Will be back for the bottom of the 5th right here in Oskaloosa. It's the Oskaloosa Classic on the No Coast Network.
At Kinetic Edge Physical Therapy, we're proud to keep the Oskaloosa Indians and their fans safe and feeling good on and off the field. Kinetic Edge Physical Therapy is the expert in injury care, orthopedics, and sports rehab, with a new facility in Oskaloosa, complete with an open gym area in addition to several private treatment rooms. If pain is bugging you, come see the experts at Kinetic Edge for a free injury screen. Find out more, including why the Oskaloosa Indians trust Kinetic Edge, at kineticedgept.com.
For all your home and business pest management needs, call Certified Pest Control of Oskaloosa. Beth and I offer better prices, better service, same-day responses, and satisfaction guaranteed. We are the only pest control company locally owned and operated. Remember, termites on your property will lead to wood structural damage. So call now for your termite inspection and ask about termite pre-treatment of new construction. We also offer bed bug heat treatments. For seasonal or monthly pest control at the guaranteed lowest prices in the area, call Certified Pest Control, 641-295-0700. We are licensed to kill.
And back here at Field 2 at the Lacey Complex, it is the North Mahaska Warhawks batting in the bottom of the 5th inning. And for the Warriors, it has been Emily Gillian who 2 of the 4 times that she has pitched prior, she's gone 1, 2, 3. That was the second and the third. And also in the first, needed to face just 4 batters. So she's been making quick work here. We're going to have the officials are talking to both sides. And it looks like we are right now having the explanation going down the North Mahaska way. And using this opportunity is the head coach of the Norwalk Warriors, Andy Powles, calls a conference on the mound, brings in all 9 fielders. They will now disperse. And to this point, one of the things that's been nice about this to get some continuity and fluidity is we haven't had to worry too much about pitching, or excuse me, not pitching changes, but position changes. Obviously, at the high school level, you'll see that much more than at some other levels where typically if somebody comes out, they're just swapped and there's no moving around of players. First pitch, swung on, drilled to center field, and under it is Jaden Lammers. So Carly Chandler flies out to the outfield for the second time in the contest, and it will bring up the catcher, Paige Lehman, a junior, and one of the few left-handed batters we've seen so far today. Upstairs, well out of the strike zone. Lehman watches that one sail by.
Yep. Let's see. The Norwalk infield hasn't had a lot of action today other than a few pop flies. There's another one hit right back to Gillian.
So the pitcher, again, making short order and trying to go for her third 3 up, 3 down in 5 innings. Alex Knuckle, the junior first baseman, and the lone player in this game that we did not see in the first game, as playing at first in the first game was Chloe Bossert as she swings through a strike there. And a little bit different of a lineup, but not too different. Morgan Hudson playing in the first game as she was playing left field, have not seen number 15 in the contest to this point. 2-1 the count. Knuckle swinging through that 1 and missing. Doesn't offer at the other 3. They're all out of the strike zone. So now an opportunity with 2 down. Knuckle trying to get on base any way she can to get the top of the order back up. Upstairs, and you never want to walk a batter, but particularly when you're talking about the 9th batter, if for no other reason, then you know that head coach Chris Sampson has a lot of confidence that players like Ducour, DeYoung, and McKay can get a rally going, particularly McKay, who while everybody else has struggled against this Norwalk ace, she has twice doubled and swinging through a strike on Zoe Ducour. However, getting away from Maddie Zimmerman as the ball, Knuckle heads up on the base path, advances to second. Ducour looks set, the wind, the delivery, upstairs the pitch. And so it's a 1-1 count, although Ducour probably a little bit frustrated herself that if she'd laid off of it, it would have been a hitter's count right now at 2-0. Goulian winds, delivers, and that was a much better pitch in location, as well as there's a little bit of movement and velocity on it. Unable to catch up with it was Ducour. 2-2 count, and swings through strike 3, and the sophomore offering up some nasty stuff and knows that as long as she keeps pitching like that, it's going to be an uphill climb for the Warhawks to get much going on the base pass. 5 are in the books. It's 4-1. Norwalk with the lead. We'll come back for the 6th inning on the No Coast Network and KMZN Radio.
Last year, the Bank Iowa team completed almost 9,000 community service hours. Oofta! That's more hours than a year contains. It's refreshing to see a bank that cares. That's actually why I chose to bank with Bank Iowa. They're a local bank that invests in community, and the community that matters most is the one that we're both a part of. Visit your local Bank Iowa location to learn more about our personal, commercial, and agricultural banking services, or go online to bankiowa.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
For over 30 years, Pella Printing has been leading the way in the print industry with quality equipment, modern facilities, and skilled staff. The Pella approach combines old-world craftsmanship with today's cutting-edge technology to provide brilliant printed products at a value price. They take the time to understand clients' needs from design to pre-press to printing and delivery to build lasting relationships with their customers. Whether you need personalized graduation announcements, oversized posters and banners, marketing materials, or stationery, Pella Printing offers a broad assortment of quality printed products done with speed and precision. Pella Printing, where technology and craftsmanship meet.
Lexi Heim will start things off here for the Norwalk Warriors, top of the 6th inning. She offers to bunt and then pulls it back. Maddie McKay, the pitcher for the North Mahaska Warhawks, getting into the 6th inning, and to this point, haven't seen anything out of her that would elicit Coach Sampson thinking about pulling her. Ripped down the line, and a big glove there by Brianna Fogel. For a while there in the 3rd inning, was seeming to have a little bit of control issues, but she's really seemed to settle down, bounce back from that, although again, we talked about how big the defense was for the Warhawks in their first game against Williamsburg, and we could be talking about a completely different situation if at the top of the 3rd inning there, if Emma Ducour hadn't come up with that play out in center field.
I like what you said, especially in the 3rd inning. McKay could have gone down. She could have got down on herself, struggled through the game away, said, "I can't do it, coach, pull me out." But you know what? She's responded very well to adversity and has pitched pretty good ever since.
And that one is grounded out to Bossard. The lefty turns and fires over to Knuckle. So we talk about Heaverlow getting hit in the 3rd inning. Lexi Heim followed up with the infield fly rule that was caught by McKay. Then Zimmerman was hit by a pitch. Ever since then, all she's done is retire the next 9 batters in succession, and that started with Tessa Palmer getting a good rip on one out to the center fielder, Emma Ducour, and right now McKay trying to make it 10 in a row and give her squad their 3rd straight 3-up, 3-down inning. However, at some point, North Mahaska is going to have to turn things around offensively in order for it to end up factoring into the decision.
And that's going to be hard to do with how well Gillian has pitched today in this game.
And the other thing too is you're hoping that if you're going to have a chance to come back, at this point, the just one run isn't as big of a concern for me. It's the fact that Gillian's had so many innings where her pitch count has been so low. I mean, you'd love to start getting not necessarily enough pitches so that it gets her out of the game, but maybe just wears on her a little bit. But there have been times where it seems like she's out there for about 60, 90 seconds, and then she's back in the dugout.
Yeah, she's in the zone right now. She's been pure dominant this entire game. There's another inside pitch called strike.
Count was 3-1. That'll make it full. And the other thing there is, as Gillian has Sodergreen batting for her. When she's not out there pitching, she's not doing anything but just sitting in the dugout. Called 3rd strike will end the top half of the 6th. We'll come back for the bottom half with Norwalk on top 4-1. You're listening to the Oskaloosa Classic. It's girls softball action on KMZN and the No Coast Network.
Water is more than just a source of life. We have fun with it, clean with it, grow with it, save lives with it. How water gets to us is rarely ever thought about. But at Clow Valve Company, water is never taken for granted. We design and build some of the most advanced water valves and hydrants in the world from one of the cleanest, greenest, and safest facilities in the United States. Clow Valve Company, it's more.
Need to buy or sell real estate in the New Sharon or Oskaloosa area? Call me, Kara Meyer, at Gatton Realty at 641-660-1713 and let me help you with your real estate needs. Whether it's residential, commercial, or land you're looking to buy or sell, I'll use my resources and expertise to find the right buyer or seller for you. All of us at Gatton Realty are proud supporters of North Mahaska. Go Warhawks!
The North Mahaska Warhawks trailing by a score of 4-1. They've scored 1 run on 3 hits, leaving 3 on base through 5 innings at the plate. Meanwhile, Norwalk scoring 4 on just 4 hits. They've left 5 on, but 3 of those were in the 3rd inning. They haven't had a base runner since then. This one is chopped foul and looking to get on base is DeYoung. DeYoung with a slow start out of the batter's box there, knowing that it was going to be foul, then at the last second deciding to give it a run just in case. This time she chops another one foul, and Abigail Johnson made that play a lot closer than it looked like. Immediately it looked like, well, once again, nobody's going to get to it. But the tall frame of Johnson nearly tracked that one down. Didn't miss her glove by much. An 0-2 count. The pitcher, once again, dialed in. Offers one up, and the official has to do something he doesn't do too often, and that's call a ball in a big situation there. But that one clearly down and in the dirt. DeYoung winds and thought about it for a second, and that's how dangerous this sophomore can be. She starts making bad pitches look just as good, and you could tell there for just a split second DeYoung wanted to pull the trigger. And frustrated there, as that was a much better pitch, and it was in the strike zone. But that's the thing, when Goulian's on, she makes that pitch and the one before it look similar. And when you go back and look at the film, those pitches are night and day different as far as their location.
And I give credit to the umpire behind the plate. He has just been as consistent as can be. I would say with the inside pitch concerning that, because if it's close, anywhere close inside, it's going to be a strike so far in this game.
Madison McKay flies out to center for a split second. You were talking about consistency, and right off her bat, I thought, well, here's consistency. It looks like McKay's going to hit another double. The difference was that while she had a nice gap between the left fielder and center fielder, she hit that one right at the center fielder. Might have had to take a step or two in, but I don't think she had to move at all east-west.
And, you know, it's getting close to where the Warhawks need to do something. They got one more inning after this, but other than that, just complete dominance by Gillian at the pitching circle. I haven't seen anything like this for quite a while.
And Emma Ducour ends up with an inside-out swing, kind of sends it out to the left, but it curves right back to the center fielder, and that will end our 6th inning. We'll be back with the 7th with North Mahaska trailing Norwalk 4-1. You're listening to girls softball action on the No Coast Network.
The Welcome In Bar and Grill at 209 Walnut Street in downtown Eddyville is the place to meet your friends for good times and great food. Try one of their mouth-watering tenderloins or burgers. And don't forget to order up some delicious appetizers like mac and cheese bites or jalapeno poppers. Stop into the Welcome In Bar and Grill at 209 Walnut Street in downtown Eddyville today, and be sure to like them on Facebook to see daily food and drink specials.
Back here at the Lacey Complex in Oskaloosa. It's not too often that I would offer this up, but I think right now, if you watch these two pitchers, you'd almost take even money on the two pitchers being able to combine for 6 up, 6 down in the 7th inning, but neither has been giving up much as of late. We did have a walk back in the 6th for the Warhawks, as this one's chopped over to the second baseman, and no problem there for Bossard as she quickly fires over to Knuckle. But we've not had a base runner for the Norwalk Warriors since the third, and at this point, obviously, they're trying to get some base runners on, see what they can do. But at this point, it almost feels like the Warriors are just kind of offensively more going through the motions, and they just realize that the way their ace is pitching, it's not necessarily a need right now. They'll gladly say, we're fine with not getting anybody on base as long as we just come back and get those big 3 outs.
Yeah, definitely. And also credit to North Mahaska's defense. McKay has really been pitching very good ever since the third inning, and the team as well has been playing good, securing pop flies, catching line drives. But they just need to really get 2 more outs, and then focus in on the bats. And if you're a Warriors fan, you're just trying to, secure the win, try and get some more runs, put some more pressure on McKay and the Warhawks, and then, just rely on your pitcher to do her thing, what she's been doing all day.
Charlie Peters, the sophomore, in for Haley Down, and she will take 4 balls on 5 pitches, draws the walk, and heads to first base. And Briley Sodergren batting in the third spot, not fielding in this contest. The lefty slaps one opposite side. It will advance Peters. Peters turned, but realized that since it was going left field side, no chance to advance for an extra base, but Emily Ellis will now come up. And just as I said that, we talked about how the Norwalk side had struggled to manufacture any runs. They had had 11 straight batters fail to reach first base, and sometimes it's that new perspective. What you'd expect with Charlie Peters having her first at bat of the game to maybe be a little bit anxious. She was the exact opposite, taking a walk on 5 pitches, and then it was Sodergren getting the base hit. Now all of a sudden they're in business with someone in scoring position, Peters, and taking the strike is Emily Ellis. You don't necessarily think, if you're a Warriors fan, that you need it, but certainly the idea of having some insurance runs helps out. And Peters will be forced out at third. So a good play there by the shortstop, Ducour, as she fires over to third base. So it's a fielder's choice for the out. Sodergren advances to second. And again, Ducour has it hit right at her, fires into the glove, and was it in time? No. And a tough break there. Ducour made a nice defensive play, but you could see for just a split second that ball hopping out of the glove. And so this will load the bases. An infield single for Abigail Johnson. It brings up Katie Heaverlow. Heaverlow 0 for 2 in the contest. Did reach base in the third inning. Was the first of 2 batters to be hit by a pitch in that inning. Diving over is Bossard, and she gets the out again. The lefty just needing a little underhand toss. The force out at second. So despite the Warriors starting to get something going offensively, they're kept off the scoreboard. It's North Mahaska's turn. They've got 3 outs. They need 3 runs. We'll come back for the bottom of the 7th. You're watching the Oskaloosa Classic. It's girls softball action on the No Coast Network.
Craig Ford is more than just the name of our business. It's my name and my reputation. Craig Ford is committed to providing you with the highest in customer service and the peace of mind in knowing we won't be beat on price. Check out our website at craigford.com and compare our prices with our competitors. Craig Ford won't be beat on price. Let me say that one more time. Craig Ford won't be beat on price.
North Mahaska coming up with their last chance. The Norwalk Warriors through 6.5 innings, but they coming to the plate 7 times, were able to manufacture 4 runs on just 6 hits and ended up leaving 8 on base, although the majority of that coming in the 3rd and the 7th inning. Twice they left the bases loaded in this most recent time without being able to score in the inning. Up is Chloe Bossard. She wastes no time, swinging at the first pitch into the glove of Heverlow on the 2-hop and gets it over to Abigail Johnson, quickly 1 away. Brianna Fogel due up, and it does look like the freshman third baseman will slide in.
It's just been kind of how the story of this game has gone for North Mahaska. They're either getting tore up by Gillian or they're hitting it exactly to where the Warriors are at, and the Warriors are just making them pay and getting the outs.
Coming into the day, Fogel batting 2 of 8, but is 0 for 5, bringing her to 2 for 13 on the season. The righty gets a piece of that one, sends it back into the backstop, a count of 1-1. And as we talked about, it's not just been that North Mahaska has had a hard time getting runs as Fogel takes a look at strike 2. They've had a hard time just getting anybody on base. In a game where you only score 1 to this point, you'd expect that means you probably left quite a few stranded, but only 3 runners on, meaning only 4, including the run scored. Fogel will foul that off.
Fogel just needs to choke up here. Anything close, you got to protect the plate with 2 strikes on you. And, you know, this could be the last bat of the day. Why not take it for a rip?
Fogel takes a look at a pitch outside. The catcher, Maddie Zimmerman, setting up way outside. Bossard with the RBI single. McKay with a couple of doubles. And Knuckle with a walk. Those are the only 3 players and the only 4 times that the Warhawks have been able to safely reach base. Fogel with a count at 3-2, lays off of it and will have a 5th batter for the Warhawks, and as dominant as the pitcher Gillian has been at times, with Fogel drawing that walk, Chandler knows that if she can get on base, the tying run comes to the plate. This is slapped over to the shortstop. They'll get 1 at second. Throw not in time. So Fogel forced out. It's a fielder's choice. But not enough time, and now Lehman. Potentially the last at bat if she can't find a way to get herself on. Knuckle is due up next, and she'll slap a base hit. They'll go ahead and hold the runner. Nobody there at first, so Lehman takes a wide stride. But it will be just a single. So now the tying run at the plate. Knuckle needing to keep things alive, but then you've got the top of the order. If she can force an extra at bat, this is hit slowly to the shortstop into the glove of Johnson, and Ellis delivers the final knockout, and the Norwalk Warriors complete the victory by a score of 4-1. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll be back with your post-game. You've been listening to North Mahaska and Norwalk softball action on KMZN and the No Coast Network.
My name is Luke Harris, and I'm proud to be a local farmer. Partnering with Flight and State Bank helps me in my farming enterprise to make sound day-to-day decisions from a financial perspective because they provide the financial stability and advice that I need to run my business the way it needs to be ran.
Staying healthy has just gotten quicker and easier. Pella Regional Health Center's walk-in clinic is there when you need it. And now you can reserve your spot with convenient online reservations. Goodbye waiting room. Hello walk-in reservations. Go to www.pellahealth.org/walk-in to reserve your spot at Pella Regional's walk-in clinic. Pella Regional Health Center, providing health care and healing services with Christian compassion.
And welcome back into Oskaloosa, the Lacey Complex, the home of the Oskaloosa Classic. And we'll have some other scores for you as well. But a final here, North Mahaska defeated by the Norwalk Warriors by a final score of 4-1. While at times it seemed like the Warriors, and particularly their pitcher, were really dominant, it was a close game. It ends up being a 3-run game, and with Lehman getting that base hit, I think we would have seen a completely different situation. Probably would have scored a run there if they needed it, but at that point you don't risk it because the last thing you want is have the game end on something like that. The next batter or several are going to have to get on base anyway. But a game that comes down to that last at-bat, if, Knuckle hits it out of the park, it's tied. If she gets on base, then you're talking about the game-tying run being at least at first and the game-winning run coming to the plate. And yet at the same time, it just had at times that sense of inevitability as Gillian didn't make too many mistakes, but when she did, when base runners got on base, if it's possible, it seemed like she stepped up her game even more and just became clutch anytime there was somebody on base.
And the scary part about Gillian is she is a sophomore. So, I mean, as she's loaded right now, I can't imagine her in the next couple of years, potentially her senior year and even her junior year. Because what she impressed me here tonight. And, if you're a Warrior Hawk fan, you can't hang your head on this one. You know what? You played, you had one bad inning that just really ultimately lost the game for them. And you know what? They still played good. They battled. They even when they were down in the last inning, they still showed that fighting effort. And you know what? You can't hang your head on that one.
So as we take a look at the final stats, Madison McKay goes 7 innings, gives up 4 runs on 6 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, and 2 hit batsmen. Whereas on the other side, Emma Gillian goes 7 innings, 4 hits, just 1 run, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. As a team, Norwalk manufactured 4 runs on 6 hits and left 8 on base, while the Warhawks 1 run, 4 hits, and 5 were left stranded. Again, we know that West Burlington will take on Oskaloosa coming up. That game scheduled to start at 4:15. Norwalk and EBF also playing in the late game. Jolene Cello will have the call of the Oskaloosa West Burlington game, and that game should have the pregame starting in just about 7 minutes at the top of the hour. So we'll go ahead and wrap things up here so we can get set for that broadcast. Again, one last time, it was Norwalk 4, North Mahaska 1. Thanks for tuning in to the Oskaloosa Classic. You've been listening to girls softball action on the No Coast Network.
Been listening to Softball Action on the No Coast Network. Brought to you by Bank Iowa, Cloud Valve Company, Oskaloosa Vision Center, Pella Printing, Robert Ald Investments, Malcolm Lumber, Kinetic Edge Physical Therapy, Certified Pest Control, Community First Credit Union, Fred's Muffler Shop, Hawkeye Real Estate, Pella Regional Health Center, Edward Jones Investments, Falvey Lumber and Hardware, Mahaska Drug, Quincy Place Mall in Ottumwa, Lighton State Bank, Gatton Realty, the Welcome Inn of Eddyville, Northern Mahaska Specialty Care Center, and the Rock Island Tap. Your Keys to the Game sponsor is Craig Ford. This has been a presentation of the No Coast Network.